Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my 2021 Rare Plant Wishlist. I'm calling it my Rare Plant Wishlist as all of the plants on this video are rare, at least to some degree in New Zealand. Some are rarer than others. And I know that I won't be able to get all of these plants by the end of 2021. A lot of them are quite rare and expensive, and also I don't have the space for some of them, particularly those that get quite large. But I wanted to include them in this wish list because I would really love to own them, even if it's not going to be this year. As I go through the plants on my wish list, I will put a picture somewhere over here of each of the plants I'm talking about so that you know what I'm talking about, just in case you've never heard of them before or you have no idea what they look like. Hopefully this wish list will give you some inspiration as well. I have written down a list, which you might see me looking at now and then to refresh my memory because it's got 16 plants in it, so I might forget some if I don't have that list in front of me, but I've written it in no particular order. Cool, so let's get started. So the first plant on my wish list that I'm going to talk about is a Thai constellation or a Variegated Monsteria. Now I know that the price of these has reduced a lot lately thanks to Plant Project commercially releasing them for a much cheaper price than what they were previously going for on places like Trade Me and Facebook. For me personally, the price is still a little bit too expensive, and also my friend Chantel owns one of these and has told me that she will give me a cutting when I'm ready, so I'm in no big rush for one of these. Like I said before, some plants in my wish list get quite large, and this is one of them, so I would have nowhere to put it currently without getting rid of some of my other bigger plants that I love. So I'm just going to wait for this one and be nice and patient. One day we will probably move, or we might buy a house, and in that case I'll have lots more room, and then I might be happy to take Chantel up on that offer for one of the beautiful Thai constellations, because they are stunning and I would love one, but I'm happy to be patient. Next on my wish list is Philodendron Varicosin. This is an interesting one because I used to think that they were really ugly and I didn't understand the hype, but the more that I've seen them, I've started to really like them, and now I would love to have one in my collection. They're just quite interesting and just beautiful. But yeah, again, the price is a little bit steep, so I'm just waiting until I see one going for a decent price that I'm happy to pay. Might end up doing a plant trade for one in the future, who knows. I know that Chantal also would like one, so we might do like a plant sharing kind of thing, which we have done in the past, where we pay halves on a plant, one of us grows it and then propagates it and gives a cutting to the other. Next on my wish list is a Hoya Cuter. I just like the veining on their leaves. You guys, if you've watched my Hoya collection video, know that I'm a sucker for some nice patterns and veining. So that's the main reason I want one of these guys. They're not too expensive, which is great. I probably could have got one sooner, but I'm kind of just waiting at the moment because as I film this, I'm going to the Tauranga Plant Festival this weekend. I'm just saving my money for that and waiting to see what there is there. Next on my wish list is Hoya Mathilde. This is just a really cute Hoya. It's a cross between a Hoya serpens and a carnosa, so it has the shape of a serpens, the nice circular shape, but it's like waxy like a carnosa, and they're much bigger leaved than a serpens. Yeah, I just think they're very cute, but I know that I want a rooted cutting of these as they are quite a small leaved Hoya, and in the past with other small leaved Hoyas, I've had problems with them rotting when trying to propagate them. So I don't want to spend all that money on a plant that's just going to rot. So yeah, I'm just waiting out till I see a decent price one that is also rooted. And then the same kind of goes for the next plant, which is a Hoya Curtsier. Again, it's very small leaved, so I definitely want a rooted cutting. I just like these ones because they have a really interesting shape. It kind of reminds me of a spades from like the playing deck. So that's kind of why I want one of those. Next on my list, I cannot pronounce it for the life of me, but I will have the name somewhere here. Philodendron Campo Portoenum. Honestly, I have no idea. It's very long and hard to pronounce. These are quite cool. I've only just seen them recently, so I'm not sure if they've been around this whole time or I just haven't seen them or maybe they're just becoming more popular, but these are quite cool. It's kind of like my mican, so it's got the velvety leaf, but I think that the leaf shape is really interesting, and that's kind of why I would like one. They're definitely a rare plant and a little bit expensive, so I'm happy to wait for one of those. Next on my wish list is a Syngonium Mojito. These are really cool Syngoniums with like a yellow speckled variegation. I just think they're stunning. I've seen them popping up a lot recently, whereas before I'd never seen one before, so I think they're just becoming more in demand. Chantel would like one of these too, so we're probably going to do a halvesies on one of these. Just waiting for one that is the right price for us, but I will be very happy to own one of them in my collection someday. I don't know if this is true, but I have heard that they are less likely to revert than a Syngonian elbow. Don't quote me on that, but if that is true, that's another reason why I'd really like to own one. Next on my list is Hoya Burtoni. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not in a hurry to get one of these because they look very similar to Biloblatas to me, and I already have a Bilobata. But I do think they're really cute. I like the leaf shape, and they look stunning when they are distressed as well. So if I had one, I would love for it to be distressed. But yeah, like I said, I'm not in a big hurry for one of these, and they can be quite pricey. Next on my list is a Philodendron Gloriosum. These are beautiful, have beautiful big leaves. They're absolutely stunning. I've seen them in real life, and I think that they are more beautiful in real life than they are in any pictures. Again, this is a plant I will have to wait for because they can get really large and I don't have the space for one. One day I would absolutely love to have one in my collection, but for now I'm just going to have to be patient. Because honestly I have no idea where it would go. There's just no room in here. Next on my wish list is Hoya Globulosa. This just has really interesting leaves, which is basically the main reason why I would like one. Again, I'm not in a super hurry to get one of these. They're quite expensive. It's not like top of my wish list, but I do think they're interesting, so I would like to own one someday. Next we have a Variegated Carry Eye. So if you've seen my Hoya collection video, I already have a normal Carry Eye, so it's just plain green, but I think the variegated ones are beautiful. However, they're like double or even 3 times the price of just a plain green Carry Eye, so I'm definitely going to have to wait for one of those when I'm in a position where I can either afford it or can do a plant trade for one. They are beautiful and it would be amazing to have one in my collection someday. Next we have Hoya Verticalata. They're more rare Hoya. I just think they're beautiful, have beautiful foliage. I have seen some pictures of them with kind of like a reddish sort of hue, which is really stunning, but I'm not sure if that's just a sun distressing or if they actually do have some red in them. I'm not too sure. If they do, that would be amazing though. Next I have Variegated Polybotra. So if you don't know, Plant Project at the Auckland Plant Market bought a whole bunch of these. The first time you've been able to get them, not from just a private collector online. They went out the store like hotcakes. By the time I got to the front of the queue, the only ones left had like 1 leaf of variegation, so I didn't really think it was worth it. If you watch my vlog on the Auckland Plant Market, you will see them in that. And if you don't already know, they were selling them for around 300 to 450 depending on size and variegation, which is a pretty good price, I think, considering that before that like nobody had them at all. I've seen them once on Instagram with someone who has a lot of rare plants, and other than that I've never seen them. So yeah, I think the prices was really good, which is why so many people bought them. So I'm just on the lookout for one of those. If I see any for a good price, then I will be keen. I'm hoping that the prices will start to go down, or that Plant Project will put some online, that more people are able to purchase them. They did that with the Thai constellations. When they released them, there was an Auckland pop-up store, but lots of people not in Auckland were really gutted that they had missed out, so shortly afterwards Plant Project put them online. So I'm kind of hoping that that happens with the Variegated Polybutra, but nothing's happened so far. But we'll wait and see. They might have just not had any stock left. Next on my list is a plant that I know I'm definitely not going to be getting in 2021. It is a Hoya Lilifolia. I just love how big the leaves are. They're like huge and lovely veining as well. This is a very rare Hoya in New Zealand. I saw one recently on Trade Me for about $1,000 for a leaf. And I'm pretty sure, although I may be mistaken, I've seen them also on Trade Me recently for $2,000. I could be wrong, but I know that they're very expensive and very rare, but they are beautiful. So one day I will hope to own one, but for now I'm just going to have to wait. Plant on my wish list is a Hoya Regalis. This is a variegated Hoya Hindurup or Hoya Compacta. These are beautiful. You can get a Hoya Moana Loa, which has like the opposite variegation. But for some reason, I just prefer the Regalis. I don't know, I just like them much better. I'm not really looking for a Moana Loa, just a Regalis. I did actually have a unrooted cutting of this that me and Chantal halved, and we got it for a really, really good price, but it rotted, unfortunately, so we're both on the lookout for one of those. But unfortunately, all the ones I've seen since then have been like 3 times the price of what I paid, so I'm just gonna have to wait for that one, but that's okay. Just checking my list, I haven't forgotten anything. Okay, yes, Hoya Macrophylla Variegated. This is a stunning plant. I would love one. If they were cheap and common, it would be like number 1 on my wish list and I would have one already, but they're not. They're very rare, very expensive, and I think they're even more expensive than the Lilifolia, if I'm not mistaken. Very sought after though, but there's not very many of them in New Zealand, hence the high price tag. These are beautiful. One day I would love to have one, but again, I'm just going to have to wait until I'm at a position where I can either afford one or I can do a plant trade for one. Or if by some miracle the prices come down dramatically, which I don't think is likely to happen anytime soon. But yes, I would love one of these in my collection. And the last plant on is an Anthurium Clarinervium. I may have also butchered that name, but it will be here somewhere. These are beautiful big leafed plants as well. I have an Anthurium crystallinium pup, which is very cute, and I got it for a very good price. And they are very similar to the Clarinerviums in leaf shape and size and like the patterning, but Clarinervium does have a more distinct and quite a different pattern on the leaf to the crystallinium. I would absolutely love to have one of these in my collection. They're a little bit pricey though. It's more that I don't know where I would put it. I'm already worried about what I'm going to do when my crystallinium gets big, because at the moment it is tiny and it just sits on a shelf full of other plants. But when it gets big, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So yeah, I might have to hold out on the Clarinervium for a while, because then I'll have 2 very large leaved plants in my tiny little flat, so I might have to wait until I have space for him, but nonetheless he is stunning. Cool, so just checking on my list that I haven't forgotten anything. No, I haven't. So that is my wish list for 2021. Hopefully that gave you guys some inspiration. Feel free to like and subscribe to this video and channel. If you have any feedback on my videos, I would love to hear about them as well down below in the comments. Obviously, I'm very new to YouTube. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out how to edit properly, how to format things and make them fancier. So if you have any feedback or any tips and tricks, I would love to hear them as well down below. That is the end of this video. Looking forward to seeing you next time. See ya!